Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the opportunity that you have blessed us with to get out of Farmington and get some and meet some other people whose experiences differ from our own, and they can offer us a new perspective on living in your word, Lord. We thank you for all that you do in our lives, and I just thank you for this group and the time that we get to spend together. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hills Youth Podcast. I think this is episode 6, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
6. We made it. We're almost to 10. Almost to 10. I didn't think we would get this far.
Shut up.
So just, I guess we'll do some introductions. So for those of you who don't know him, behind the screen, running everything from lighting to recording to sound, we got Genaro Lopez in the back there. No one's going to clap? What's that?
No,
All right,
no, we're good. We'll just throw the effects in after.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay.
No, we're going to forget about that. Anyways.
Then at the very end there, with the Matrix shades, we got Graham Lewis McWilliams.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
You seen, I'm sure you've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I'm totally about the just, hey. You know what I mean? It works every time, I'm telling you.
Sitting next to him is Ezekiel Hines.
Yeah.
Woohoo. And today we have a very special guest, all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have Sebby Clemens. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Sebby?
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
And then I'm Bryce. This is my second episode. What's up, guys? You might know me from behind the scenes, but Vaughn decided to put me up here because everything I touch doesn't work.
No, everything you touch turns to gold. That's why you're here now.
Exactly.
We love you, bro.
Well, thank you.
All right. So I want to get started real quick. Sebby, like, tell us about yourself, man. So for people who don't know, like what you do, bro?
Well, to many, I'm a YouTuber. That's probably the main thing I do is I create videos on YouTube. I do graphic design, photography, videography, pretty much all things creative. That's kind of my forte. So,
I feel you, bro. I
yeah.
feel you. Word. So, I got a question for you. You bring out Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
your thing. That's your thing, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, you got Spider-Man cosplay stuff. You got suits and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
How many? I want to know.
It's been a while since I've looked.
Oh boy. Okay.
I don't know. I kind of stopped doing it a couple years back, but I still have like a whole closet
That's
dedicated,
fire.
like
That's
with
fire.
everything in it. But
Dang.
I'd say probably at least right now, probably like 6 or 7.
That's
But
fire.
over the
Dang.
years, like it's cycled in. Some I got rid of, some I got new. You know.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, I feel you. That's
yeah.
sick. That's sick.
Dang. Well, Graham, you go around telling everybody that you're Spider-Man.
I tell kids I'm Spider-Man because that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Like
Heck yeah.
we're staying at Vaughn's mom's house, and you're sitting there telling Eden and Zion that you're Spider-Man. That
Vaughn's
Peter
kids,
Parker.
just so you know,
Peter
yeah.
Parker was just.
It's a
made up
made-up
by the
identity.
government.
Here's the thing. Look, they didn't want to expose it, right? Because I mean, they say Graham McWilliams is Spider-Man, like that's a big deal, and I get paparazzi and all that stuff. So I worked with the studio. They decided they were gonna go with the name Peter Parker. You know what I mean? And we moved in that direction. But it is, if you didn't know, based on me and my life story. Also Batman, both of them. It was pretty crazy. It was Marvel and DC, and I wanted to. I wanted to go with one or the other, but I just couldn't decide, so I just went with both. Yeah.
So you're Spider-Man during the day and then Batman at night?
Yeah, I never sleep, bro. I'm on that grind constantly. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't stop me.
Well, that work must be a little hard because we're from Farmington. That's kind of a small town. Not like where we are now.
Look, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Teleportation is something the government's been working on for years, okay? I happen to be an early adopter, all right? That's all you got to worry about. So like there's really no logistics. Everybody, and it's all a good alibi. It's like, oh, teleportation doesn't exist. Oh, you're not Spider-Man. Oh, you're not Batman. Yeah, come on now.
We're about to get bombed.
We're about to get RQE
For
right
those
there.
of you who don't know, right now we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Look it up. It's one of the most dangerous places in the United States of
No,
America.
hey, let's not hit on
Sebby, how do you manage to survive this area?
I don't really go deep too much into Albuquerque. I'm more on the
Okay.
Rio side just because
Yeah.
Rio's a little safer. But
It's nice, but like
yeah,
it's like GTA, dude. It's like
is, yeah.
you never know
You gotta
what
be
you're
careful.
gonna see. We toured there yesterday. We took a little tour, you know.
We got toured around Albuquerque. We got to go see all of these sites that different filming companies go when they film movies and shows. Breaking Bad is really popular around here.
I wonder why.
But we went down to the UNM campus, and around there we started noticing it got a little shadier. Some people walking on the streets, and then we made our way over to Central, and oh my gosh, I love Farmington now. I honestly, I do appreciate growing up in a little town. I do feel like most of the time it is safer, but one of the big things that I like about living in a little town is that I can make connections with a lot of people. Like, you can walk into a grocery store or the mall or a movie theater and you'll know someone. So like, I feel like God has blessed me with growing up in a little town. I was also raised by a big family, so like I have aunts, uncles, cousins. All my grandparents live there, so I feel like living in a little town has been a blessing for me. So, Sebby, how do you manage to make connections or make a community in such a big place?
Well, honestly, I mean, maybe I'm just used to growing up here, but I feel like it's small here. I can't imagine what it's like where you guys are at because it's a lot smaller. But to me, it's always like, oh, Albuquerque's so tiny, even though it is like relatively decent size. But like, as I'm always traveling and like across the country, like I just notice how small it is here, especially just in the state. So it's like when I go out to LA or New York or wherever, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so massive here. So I tend to not make too many connections here just because I feel like there's not too much going on. But I'm always like cool with everybody. I'm always, making relationships everywhere I go. But I feel like most of my friends, most of my industry connections, most relationships that I've built that have been significant have been probably outside, at least in the industry that I'm in. Like every time I'm out in Los Angeles or, different places like that, I meet new people every single time, and I'm always connecting with other creators and other people out there. So it's just like, it's better to meet people outside of where I'm at is what I've found for me. And then especially on social media, like I've met so many friends through just on the phone, messaging, DMs, stuff like that. So there's not too much going on in Albuquerque, unfortunately. But you never know what you might find. You never know. So
Yeah, every now and again you'll get some famous dude, huh?
right, yeah. Every now and then you might find someone cool or make a cool connection. So like,
Yeah.
like I said, like always being kind to people and just building relationships regardless of where you're at is like super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just traveling, you make all those connections in different places. Like, what kind of connections are you building when you go to Albuquerque or Los Angeles, or do you go to other places to just hang out with those people, or is it for a reason?
Yeah, I mean, I like to. I'm in and out of LA the most probably, just because I love that city. I would totally. Okay, I don't know if I'd live there, but I'd live there.
Look at the shirt.
That
though.
might
I mean,
be worse
come
than
on.
Albuquerque.
I live there for the vibe, but there's a lot of bad things about it that I don't like every time I'm there. But the
But
people
hey,
and
you're
the
in the
energy,
worst
facts.
metro area.
Facts.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I would have to.
It only
agree,
gets
the
better
crime
from
and all
here,
that.
you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I find it every time I go out there. Like I know a good chunk of people, so it's like every time I'm out there, I get to link with friends and like, a lot of times I'll go out there for networking events or different like because there's always something going on. Like literally every single night, there's an event, there's a concert, there's something happening. So it's just like every time I go, I try and make the best use out of my time, whether that be meeting with people that I already know, going to networking events, or even reaching out to people on social media, like seeing that, oh, you're in LA, I'm going to be here, this week or whatever, and then just meeting up for lunch with people or, hey, let's go shoot some photos or whatever, as like meeting up with other photographers and like creatives like that. It's cool to find other people with like that eye, because if I give my camera to a random person to take photos of me, they're probably not going to do the best job. But if I link up with another photographer, then it's like we can snap photos of each other, because as the photographers, we don't get too many pics of ourselves So it's nice to link up with other creatives and and kind of just be surrounded by that group of people. That energy is so contagious, and I feel like every time I come back home, just like I'm fired up, like I'm ready to go, and I'm just like, it's a good refresher to go travel and go different places and get that motivation, and then come back and apply it to my work, you know.
I feel that, man. So I got a question. How does your faith impact all of those things, right? You're always with people. You're always in different places. You're always, networking and traveling there. How do you balance that with your faith? How do you, link up with, Christians and, how do you, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's because I mean, LA is a really dark place. It's probably one of the darkest like cities out there. It's crazy, but I feel like every time that I go out there and every time I'm there, I feel like it's definitely God, but like I just get steered in the right direction. I get put in the right rooms in the right places. Like have a good intuition. Obviously, that Holy Spirit's kind of like guiding me. But I feel like the group that I have kind of surrounded myself with out there is so many believers. Like I've been able to network and what's up? I've been able to network and like be homies with like so many cool creators that are doing big things. They're working with big artists. They're shooting festivals. They're doing crazy work for A-list celebrities, and a lot of these guys are believers. A lot of these guys are really solid in their faith. They're, coming to church. And so it's really cool. Like every time I'm out there, like they're like, yo, let's, you want to come to church with us while you're out here? Like, let's, they have Bible studies, they have different things. So it's,
Sick, dude.
I feel like I found the last time I was out there was a couple months ago. It was a networking event for creators, and I got linked in with this dude on social media. I did a podcast with them. It was the most recent one I did, and it was called Created to Create. It was about like living in God's purpose as a creator.
Throw it on the screen.
Yeah, it was awesome, but they're all believers, and I got linked up with them, and they're all creators. They're all working with brands and artists, and so it's just when you find people that have those values, and obviously as Christians, like meeting other Christians is just awesome because everybody's so, for the most part, genuine and,
Right.
has the best interest at heart. So finding people in cities like that is like super encouraging because it's like those are always the people that I'm going to hit up when I'm in there in town and be like, yo, let's link up, because not only are they good influences on me creatively and motivationally, because I feel lifted up as a entrepreneur and as a creator and just in all of those worldly aspects per se, but also in my faith because I can see that these guys are in the midst of the craziest industry, the craziest city, but they're still keeping their faith strong. They're still doing big things. They're still successful, and they're still solid in their walk. So I feel like I found a good group with the people that I'm homies with, and like, even just going to churches in different places. I feel like it's fun to try different churches. So if you're traveling, like, go check out a local church and see what's up and meet people there. You never know who you might run into.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
That's really cool. So I think that one of the big issues that we see today, especially for people our age, is that we see a lot of people moving away from the church, moving away from faith. Younger people, a lot of times, some of them have bad experiences, and that cuts them off for the rest of their lives. So I was just wondering, like, how is, like, a Gen Z YouTuber, a member of Gen Z, going to all these places? Like, how are you going to, enlighten Gen Z, show them the way, the truth, and the love of Jesus, of God? How do you encourage that?
I think it's tough, but I feel like it just starts with relationship and it starts with relatability. I feel like that's something that I've always seen as the way to do it. Just any age, whether it's Gen Z or not, I feel like the best way to reach people for God is to relate with them and to meet them at their level where they're at. I think of like what Jesus did and how he would speak to people and just his teachings and things, and I just feel like the best approach is to just have relatability and empathy towards people and just lead with love. I always talk about leading with love because it's just so important. Like, regardless of what's going on in someone's life, like, don't be quick to judge, but be quick to love, and regardless of what they got going on, or if they're so, some people might say, oh, they're too far, they're whatever, but like, it's just always like looking at them through the eyes of Jesus, how he would see them, and on a scale of like what I do, like creating videos and content for millions of people, like to me it's like if I can get people to connect with me as a person through the screen and like what I'm doing, I build that trust with them, right? And I feel like trust is a big deal. Like if I just start going out and saying all this stuff, like people are gonna most likely deflect it and dodge it. But if I gain that trust with people and I gain that relationship, it feels like, then they're going to trust what I say. Like, I'm sure we all have mentors and people that we look up to, whether it be family, celebrities, whatever, and we trust them. And so anything that they say, whether it's right or wrong, we're going to take it into consideration. So like, if I have that trust, I have that influence, then when I say those things that are important and I start speaking about Jesus and stuff, and when I mention that, they're going to be more susceptible to think about it. I'm not forcing anything, right? But they're going to think about it. They're going to go home and be like, dang, I really admire Sebby. I look up to Sebby, and he is talking about this, this, and this. Like, I wonder if that's true. I wonder, let me look in the Bible. Let me see what that says. And so I've always felt like that's the best way to do it. I'm always open about my faith anyways. Like, I'm someone that I believe, like, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to hide it. So I'm always going to be upfront and, show that off and be like, hey, like, I'm a follower of Jesus. I love Jesus. Like, that's the king right there, always. But I feel like reaching people, creating that connection and that trust between them that applies on what I do with videos, and it also applies in person in real life. You can do that just face to face. So.
Okay, well, amen to that. But yeah, that's really cool. Just trying to reach out to people. That's always been something that I've kind of struggled with, is like reaching out to people and trying to relate to them in those ways. I feel like it's something that I've tried to get stronger in, especially, I'm a student senator, all that stuff. So trying to reach out to people, it's one of those skills that I've been lacking on for most of my life, but I feel like it's one of those things that is so important as a Christ follower, just to be relatable to people, not just of your own age, but to everyone. Just like for me, I meet people all over the high school who, are not believers, who think that what I do at the church is crazy. I've had a couple people come up to me and tell me, why are you helping on a podcast for God? Like, that's a stupid way to waste your time. And so you just have, like, I always have to stop and think, like, what have these people gone through? Like, how can I be more relatable to them? So, that's just what I'm taking from what you're saying, and, just learning how to go forward with that. So
All right, I'm gonna jump topics real quick. I got a question for you, Sebby. Break down the fit for us, bro. All right, you got the Prada on, you got the, you got the donks. Let's break down a fit real quick, bro.
All right. Yeah, we got the Prada Sunnies. I'll be honest, I hate shopping at malls. I hate shopping at like
I totally feel that,
stores
totally
because
feel that,
everyone
yeah.
has the same thing. But I saw this at H&M. I think I thought it was cool.
That's pretty
It was
sick.
basic, but I was like, I'll cop it. Why not? I like the fit. So I think I got it from H&M. The pants are PacSun, I think.
Fire.
And then the dunks are they're like the Loves or something. I don't know. I got it from the Shoe Plug. He hooked me up.
I feel you.
Shout out my boy. I think his name's Anthony. But yeah. So that's
Can't
the
go
fit.
wrong with the Shoe Plug.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
100%. That's fire, though. It's fire. Okay, so culture, right? I mean, obviously, style, fashion, outfits, all that stuff, very ingrained with the culture, right? How do you stay in touch with that, man? I mean, obviously, you're in the middle of it. You're an influencer, right? And you're a photographer and you're creative. You're on the forefront, right?
Mhm.
But there's a lot of people, man, that especially from where we're at, from Farmington, like who aren't quite in that. You know what I mean? They're kind of detached a little bit, right? And shout out to all my homies down there with the cowboy boots and the the big hat. Shout out to Remington. You know who you are.
Remington, Michael D.
Yeah, 100%, right? But how do you, for somebody who wants to kind of like get into that, where do you start, man? Like, where do you like? Okay, I want to be on the fashion trend. I want to dress like Sebby. I want to do these things. Where do you start, man?
I think it's just like kind of paying attention to like social media. Like, I'm an active social media user. Like, kind of sucks because like it's my job, but I spend so much. I justify my time spent.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
100%.
But I'm on it a lot, which means I consume a lot. So I'm always like, okay, like what's trending? What is, what are the celebrities wearing? Oh, that looks stupid. I hate that trend. Or, oh, I
Yeah.
really like that one. Like, I feel like it's just paying attention. I used to watch like YouTubers when I was younger, like when I was in middle school, like, it was like how to talk to a girl, how to, how to dress cool, 5 things to up your masculine,
Yeah, those ones.
I feel like every dude has watched one of those at least once,
At some point.
yeah. So I used to watch those when I was really young, and that kind of got me into like caring about it and like really like wanting to put effort into all of that. But yeah, I would say just actively being on social media, seeing what the poppin' people are going with, but also add your own twist. I'm a big fan of like not totally following the crowd. Like do your own thing, switch
Be
it
different.
up. Like be different. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, everyone's wearing baggy pants to wear skinny jeans because skinny jeans are sometimes rough, But
I was about to ask about that. Yeah.
but like if you want to switch something up or do something crazy, just to add your own spin on it, go for it. Like who cares what people think? Do your own thing. If it makes you feel confident, it makes you feel good, then go for it.
I feel that, man. I feel that. All right, one more question for you about this, at least. What do you think of Kanye's Yeezy Pods? What do you think of those? Have you seen those?
Yeah. I wouldn't rock them. I feel like they're mostly just the hype around the brand and people just like liking that. I feel like if anybody were to drop that, it wouldn't be as like cool. And I feel like that style of like sock shoe is kind of dated. So
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, I just said one more question. I'm a liar. What is like? Do you when you're putting out posts and outfits and all that stuff? Do you ever think of like the longevity? Like, because 5 years ago, I mean a little longer than that, right? Everybody was wearing the skinny jeans and the 350s, right? And so like now somebody pulls up in the 2017 fit with the Supreme and the skinny jeans and the 350, right? Like you're kind of gonna make fun of them, right? Like this is an outdated hype beast. Do you ever consider longevity? Like, okay, in 5 years, will this be around? Is this gonna look stupid? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever think about that when you're putting stuff together, or you wear what you wear? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's a mix of both because I was into that style. I remember that, and it was so fire at the time. Like, there's no denying that it was so sick. We all did, yeah. And there's still so many people that dress like that. But like, you look back now, and you're like, dang, like that's rough. But I think kind of what the style is now, like with the baggy pants and everything baggy and big. Like as a skinny guy, I love it because like if I wear tight stuff, it shows that I'm skinny. I'm working on it. I'm getting in the gym. I'm bulking up. We're good. But like it just looks best on me. So I like it for that reason. But it's also popping. But like I feel like it throws back, like history repeats itself. So like you look at the early 2000s, you look at years and years and years ago, that's how people were dressing, and it's coming back now. It'll probably go out of style in a couple years, but I feel like it'll make its return. So like things kind of just rotate in and out. I've noticed in the fashion world. So like
people are going decades back with their fashion.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you look and you're like, that's crazy, but then
some of the ladies right now are wearing the bell bottoms. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like,
but it just comes back. So it's like honestly, like I feel like it's a mix. Like if you feel confident and you feel good in it, then rock it. Who cares what people think? But also like take a good mix and do what's trending, and don't worry, because if it's like hyper trendy, then I feel like it'll probably age out. But if you keep classics, you keep basics in the loop, and things that are not so loud, I guess, like things that can be swapped in and out, then I feel like those age better.
I feel that.
Okay. Yeah. So, kind of keeping up with trends and all that stuff. And you said that you do like to, be a little bit of a black sheep, like not always follow every trend or be a little bit different. Do you think your faith has impacted you to do that, to not follow
for sure
and everything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like, obviously, like as believers, we're secluded from a lot of things, and the Bible even says like you're gonna face like adversary because of your faith, and you're gonna face like so many of these different challenges because you believe in me, so I feel like that's kind of been like engraved into me because of my faith. So it's just like shoot, like, I think it's cool. Like, I don't like seeing, like, when something's trending or going on and, like, everybody's into it, I'm like, oh, my gosh, like,
Yeah.
you know, it bugs me. But I just think back to kind of, like, Jesus and stuff, and I'm like, you know, and I'm proud to be, you know, what I am and do that. And I want to influence the culture. I want to flip the culture. I want to make it, you know, how I see it. And I want to, you know, the point is to bring people to Christ. And so it's like, although that's the minority per se, like, let's do it. Like, it's a mission. Like, you know, we're the black sheep, but let's get more black sheeps. Like, you know, let's get the fur dye out and let's turn everyone, you know, like, let's do it. That's kind of what I'm, like, that my thought process is behind it. But I feel like, yeah, it goes hand in hand with everything. So it's definitely had a big influence on, like, kind of just how I think in general and everything about trying to make things my own or make things different or steer away from the crowd. It kind of goes back to that.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Can you tell us, like, as such a young artist and all that stuff, where did your journey with God start? Like, how did Sebby become a Christian? How did he start conducting Christian behaviors on his YouTube channel and all that stuff?
Yeah, I pretty much grew up in the church. Like, my parents, like, just taught me about God. We always went to church every Sunday, so I kind of just grew up being in the faith. I think my parents got saved when I was like probably 2 or 3. So I was really young, too young to remember like any sort of switch or transition. But yeah, we always kind of were involved in that, and so I kind of just grew up believing that. And I mean, my testimony is not as crazy as some people, or it's like they, you know, had such a dramatic change, but it's, I feel like to me, just always made the most sense. Like, again, growing up with like being different, like I remember learning about certain things in school and different, like, you know, hearing what other kids would say and what they thought and what their beliefs were. And to me, it was just like, dang, that's kind of crazy. Like, to me, like, in a logic standpoint, what I believe in makes the most sense from a logic standpoint, but also from a faith standpoint too, obviously. But
Yeah,
as a kid, you think more logically and like,
Oh, yeah,
you know, like,
100%.
did we evolve from monkeys or did we, you know, like, as a kid, like, that's your thought. And so, like, I was just like, well, you know, it makes more sense to me that there's a
Yeah.
man up in the sky and snapped his fingers and, you know,
Right.
like, he designed us. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, no crap, like, obviously. But, yeah, I feel like that's kind of how I grew up. And it got to the point of, like, at the age where, like, you kind of got to separate your faith from your parents and,
Right.
like, not rely
Yeah.
on
Do
what
your
they
own
believe
thing,
in.
yeah.
So I definitely was like, yeah, like, there's no other option. There's no other thing that makes sense to me. And I feel the most, you know, I feel the best. And as I started to go through certain trials and tribulations and hardships, I noticed that God, you know, how he worked in everything.
Yeah.
And I noticed different miracles in my life and different just things throughout my life that just kind of played their part in kind of him revealing himself to me and being
Yeah.
like, hey, I got you. Not only that, but just the gifts I've been blessed with, the talents, the ability to speak to people. Like, I just feel like God chooses certain people,
Yeah.
and, like, not in an arrogant way or in a I'm better than anyone, but, like, I feel like he's chosen me, and I feel like he has put Sebby Clemens on this earth to do massive things and
Yeah.
for him, you know, like, and I feel like he has given me the talents, he's given me the gifts, he's given me the charisma, he's given me every good thing about me so that I can go out and do those things. And so I just look at that and I'm like, there's no way I have all of that
Right.
just for no reason, you know.
Yeah.
It's definitely on purpose. And I look at so many other people, like you guys, every single person has something in them that God has blessed them with, talents, abilities, that they can, I feel like he gives us all a super high, crazy, cool potential, and it's up to us to find that and fulfill it for
Yeah,
him.
for sure, man.
So
Going back to the logic thing, I'm about to put some of y'all on. Any beginning Christian, you know, trying to figure out, you know, logic, like, okay, separating from the Bible, why do I believe what we believe? Why does this make sense? This is all, you know, you're saying some dude in the sky just like pointed, like, come on, right? No, but there is a lot of logic and stuff behind it. So any young Christian, bro, highly recommend this book, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Seriously, one of those things, man. It just walks through just purely logical. Okay, so why is there God? Why is it our God? Why is it, you know, Jesus? Why did, you know, and it walks through all that stuff without using necessarily, you know, scripture and stuff. Because if the Bible isn't real, then there's no point in using Scripture to say it is, right? That doesn't make sense,
Right.
right? If the Bible is real, then the Scripture becomes relevant, right? But if you're still struggling with that, highly recommend it. It's a pretty short read. It's not that long, but it's such a good book. But jumping to that, man, I think like you said, Sebby, logic is such a like important thing, and a lot of people don't. Like, if you don't have faith, you don't have faith, right? And you can't
Right.
use faith. So you have to have a logical basis on you. And if you're just kind of blindly local, I believe, like, that's great. That's awesome. I love the faith. But you also have to be able to back it up. You know what I mean? You
Why
also
you
have to
believe,
have that.
yeah.
Yeah, why do you believe? Because even if you have an amazing relationship with Christ built on faith alone, that's awesome for you. But sometimes there's going to be people who that don't work for. And then you're trying to, the Great Commission, right? Make disciples. If you can't do that logically, and you're just like, well, I believe it, so, like, no, it's not going to work sometimes. So you have to have that logical basis on that. So I love that you brought that up, Sebby. Zeke, so I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
How have you worked through all that, man? Like, Sebby talks about, he grew up in the church and all that stuff. Man, I know you got a crazy testimony. I'm not gonna make you jump into that if you don't want to. But like, did you start with the more faith side? Did you start with more logic side? Where'd you go with that?
My younger life, like, I'd say like 6, 7, and younger, there was a lot of like trauma, and so I doubted God for years and years and years, and I just went through the motions,
Mm.
just not wanting to wake up and go to church, not wanting to do this, do that, and then I throughout the years of school, I just got to like find myself and find God, and He's kind of steered me into like the right direction, and then I found the church that we're doing the podcast for. I found Hills Church, and I've grown a lot spiritually throughout high school, and I just completed high school,
Heck yeah.
but yeah, but
I'm shocked.
he's
He
surprised.
managed to
I
do
was-
it. He
you know what,
managed
he
to do
gra-
it.
I
Did
got
you
the
graduate high school?
I got the
No,
graduation
that's what I
announcements.
thought.
I mean, yes, kind of. I'm
No,
in college
no.
now. Shut up. No, I got the graduation announcements, and I was like, I just sat staring at it for a couple minutes. I'm like, you did it. You
You
know
did
what I
it.
mean? Like, I can't believe
Oh,
it.
wow.
But hey, congrats, bro.
Hey, at least I did it,
Yeah, no. But yeah, no. So all right, so that's great, man. So I mean, but you think you learn more on the faith aspect of that? Like, do you think it came
Yeah,
from
more on the faith.
like, okay, God's real and He's there for me, and I'm gonna work on the logic and all that stuff later. But I know there's somebody out there. Is that kind of where you started?
Just
or?
finding good mentors and asking questions. Always ask questions if you don't know something about your faith. If you're like, okay, this all makes sense, but like I don't see God. Where is
Yeah.
He? Like ask those questions. Go to the church, find your community, and go ask those questions, so that you can better your faith.
And dude, I'm gonna say something might be a little controversial here. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be at the church, man. Like, I got a homie, man, that he's not plugged into Hills, but we talk about God a lot, man. We do ice baths and stuff together, and we'll just sit there for 20 minutes in the ice bath talking about and bouncing stuff off each other. And I feel like you got to find those people, right? Whether it's at the
Yeah.
church or whether it's at school or whatever it is, man. Get plugged in. We talked about that with Matt. So important to find the people. Like Sebby said, man, you got your people in LA, you got your people here, all that are dedicated to doing the creative things and being different and being having that impact, but also doing it for the name of God, right?
Right.
And I think you gotta find those people. It's so important, man. No man is an island, and
Allergies,
Bless
dude.
you.
bless you, bro.
Bless
Bless
you.
you. I hope God will heal you. No,
I know.
but
Albuquerque, it's like
You need it,
triggering my
man.
allergies, dude.
yeah, no, but I think that you need to have those people in your life that are saying no man is an island, and I work alone a lot. I tend to operate on a more isolated level, and that can be good for some things, but even Matt said it yesterday when we filmed. He said something to the thing of, if you want to go fast, do it alone. If you want to go far, do it with people. And that's, I think, it stuck with me. That's such an important thing. You have to have people, man. You can be alone for certain things, but you got to have those people who are with you and follow God, or else you're going to get wrapped up in the wrong ones.
See, I agree with that on such a personal level. So I've told my testimony on here before. I guess I would consider myself to have been an atheist at one point. I was on the logical side of things. Like, I didn't understand how there could be someone, in the sky, creating all of these amazing, wondrous things. And so I was one of those people that was like, oh yeah, we came from monkeys. There was like a big bang that happened when there was apparently nothing in the universe. Apparently there was just boom. Which, looking back on that, like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Hot take. I believe in the Big Bang.
I think that God was the Big Bang.
Yeah, exactly. But I believe in it, and I think there's some merit to it. Fun fact: there's a lot of Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
He was the one who kind of came up with the Big Bang theory. Him and a partner, and at the time it was super controversial.
Yeah.
Because it implied the existence of a creator. There was a beginning point, which means something had to create it. And so now if you research it, there's been, since the 70s when this first came out, people have been trying to, backtake that and try to, like, work around, well, maybe it all came from nothing and all this stuff. And actually, the immense evidence we have of the Big Bang, it's actually, like, a lot of reason to believe in the fact that there was a creator and there was a God. So just some fun facts out there. But, like, going back to the logic thing, right? There's a lot of stuff like that. You have to have that logical basis, and you have to have the faith basis. You can't do it on one alone.
And I believe so much that a lot of our faith comes from the people that we surround ourselves with. No matter where they are, where they come from, who they are, all of those things. I didn't start to accept God into my life until I met the people at my church. Like, I was a COVID kid, all that stuff, locked in my house for 2 years. After that, I got into church. I was invited by a close family friend. And after that, I just started making a community. I started getting poured into by good people like Vaughn and Chad and Christy and all those people. And I was making friendships with guys like Braden Davis and Remington Stotts and then you guys, of course. And
We're friends?
Yes, we are friends.
Oh, man.
We are friends.
I'm just kidding, Bryce. I love you.
You invited me over to your house on Wednesday, dude.
That was a mistake. My bad. Come on, bro. We're supposed to keep it low key, man. Move in silence, dude. Like lasagna, bro.
So anyway, I agree with that statement so much. Is that coming from someone who did think on the logical side of things for so long. I'm still a very scientific-minded person, but I'm strong in my faith now. Like, I know what I believe in. I know that there is a creator who is looking out for me, looking over me, and all those things. So, but finding that community is really important in building your faith, building a strong foundation. And then, of course, just diving deep, getting the information you need to back yourself, back what you believe so that you can help teach other people. Because I know when I would ask questions to people, I would ask, okay, well, can you explain where did God come from? Who came up with these laws and all that stuff? And a lot of the people that I asked wouldn't really give me an answer. They would say like, oh, it's in the Bible. And I'm like, well, where in the Bible? And they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, and then, eventually coming to the church and then meeting people who did know and were teaching me and all that stuff. So I think, getting that information, getting poured into is such an important part of helping to pour out to others. Because you can't pour out to others if you're not being poured into yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, Bryce, I gotta know. We had Sebby's fit breakdown. Can I get your fit breakdown right now?
My fit breakdown?
Let me see the fit breakdown.
Oh, okay. So I don't care about stuff. So my mom got all of this stuff for me because
shout out mom. Shout out Miss Sandoval.
Shout out.
Shout out. Her name is Caitlin.
Shout out Caitlin.
Shout out to Caitlin Sandoval. But I'm wearing a green Arrow shirt. And then
Fire, limited edition.
And then some
101.
Sam's Club shorts.
Hey,
101.
bro. Sam's Club cheap, man.
101.
And then I think this is an Adidas hat. I think so. I think it's
Turn on, hold it. Nope.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
It's a
Nope.
VC Rika hat, bro.
VC Rika. Okay. But that's my fit. I don't care. I've never really been into clothes or fits or anything like that. It just hasn't really been something that's ever been a super big part of my life. It also just isn't something that's like really focused on it, even in my family. Like, I have 2 sisters and neither of them are like really into fashion or anything like that. So in my household, I've never really, gotten fashion advice or anything like that. My mom was like, "Oh, those clothes don't match," and then I was like, "Okay." So I would always wear gray and black because that always goes together.
I wear exclusively blue, red, gray, and black because I'm Batman and Spider-Man. So I don't know what to tell you.
I will say, however, though, being friends with Graham and then also having a girlfriend, I do know a little bit more than I did. I do care a little bit more about.
He doesn't have
my
Yeezys
clothes.
yet, but
I don't
we're
think
trying,
I'd ever
trying.
get Yeezys, dude.
We're trying.
I don't
We're
think
trying.
I would ever do it.
No, I have Yeezy pods. Do you want them? I'll just give them to you, bro.
Let's do a video where we give you a fashion makeover.
100%.
Do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Do it.
Yeah,
I'm
let's go to
waiting
the
for
mall.
it.
Let's go to the
I'm
mall.
waiting for it. We'll tune in a couple of weeks and we'll do a
We'll link up, bro.
Coronado Mall trip.
Coronado Mall.
100%.
Try not to get shot.
Survival challenges.
I heard. It might not be true, but Vaughn said don't stare at people for more than a second, and they won't bother you. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't really look at people, so
You don't look at people.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's an Albuquerque thing. Just don't look at them, and then they won't mess with you, right?
probably yeah. Yeah, because if you give someone a dirty look and they're like kind of ghetto, then they'll probably be like, "What are you looking at?" You know.
Yeah.
So
I just think it was so funny because going down by UNM, going down by Central, it was a little crazy seeing all that stuff. Like the guy that was drinking gas out of a gas pump last
Dead
night.
serious, dude. We thought we were stealing it, and then he did this. I was.
Dude, behind our van, we saw this motorcycle just going
So
like across the lanes, like this, just like trailing us. And so once our lanes split into 2 lanes, we were like, all right, let's just let this guy pass. Come on, just come on.
So we came down here in this big old white van, and we went to a restaurant with some friends of Vaughn's last night. And we were leaving the restaurant, and they were like, "Oh, cool! You guys got candy in that van?" Because it's just this big old white ghetto-looking van. So we're just, and we get into it. We're driving, looking at all this stuff, looking at people drinking gas, because apparently that's something that happens here. And we're in downtown, and Christy, who was with us, who's Vaughn's wife, told us, "Don't look to your left."
Okay.
Don't look to your left. And
Before she said anything, I looked, man, and she says, "Don't look to your left," and everybody in there was like,
Don't
why,
look for
why?
more
And
than a second.
nobody else's like.
Don't look for more than a second.
No,
You'll be good.
nobody's looking. I had already looked before she said anything, and I'm like, dude, what? And then everybody looked, and it was
me, Zeke, and
totally-
G just in unison, like, what?
I don't want to go too
Hey,
in depth because
remember,
our target
one
audience
second rule. One
isn't
second
like
rule. Just
I don't know.
Anyway,
what else to tell you.
this city needs Jesus.
Sebby, do you drink gas? Do you
I
go to the
don't.
gas
I
station?
have
Just
not.
drink? No, you've never tried
I'm
it.
a water guy.
There's a first for everything.
I don't
Hey,
know,
bro,
man.
we gotta try it next time, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's probably fire. It's probably gas.
I mean, if he liked it, you might.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
shoot, dude. But like, there's so many nice cars out there. It's like, dude, how could you manage to have a nice car out there where like you're worried about it getting broken into? Like, cause like
That is
Vaughn
some-
and Christie's truck got broken into 3 times
Dang.
in like what they said within
Like a
year.
month. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what's something that's interesting to me? Like, all right, Farmington, bro. There's not like a ton of nice, like ton of nice whips, right? And the ones
We
that
have a
are there-
Cybertruck.
We have a Cybertruck.
We have
now,
one
which is-
Cybertruck,
We have a
and then it's
single
this
one,
dude
and there was
that's
this one in
like,
Durango too.
hey, guess what? You know what this is? Hey, it's a Cybertruck. Hey, do you see what this is?
That's
Like,
the
he's
entire
that
thing. That's
guy.
pretty great. But no, but like,
Yeah.
all right, so we don't have like, we're down in Farmington and Little Podunk, right? And we don't have a ton of stuff. And everybody who has nice for cars like Ferraris or, a 4GT or whatever, all that stuff never comes out, bro. That stuff is in the garage 24/7, 365. Man. I have, a buddy of mine. He has, I don't know, 4 Ferraris or something like that. It's awesome. And he puts maybe 1,000 miles on him a year. Probably less. And he drives his truck everywhere. And so it's like, that's kind of like that atmosphere we have. So it's kind of weird sometimes going here, going to LA, going to, different places throughout the country and just seeing like, oh, you're just driving it. That's cool. You know what I mean? No, going back. All right. So going back to the fashion thing, I brought that up for a reason.
Okay.
We have, Sebby, man, and he's using his, the creatives and the influence and all that stuff to point people to Christ, right? And
Yeah.
that's awesome. But Bryce is doing the exact opposite, and he's still
Thank
pointing
you.
people to
Thank
Christ.
you.
You know what I mean? He
Oh, I was gonna say pulling people away.
Wow, Zeke. Wow.
no, but like what what Bryce does, man, and he is not a people oriented person, right? And I'm a people oriented person. I dress for a reason. I do certain things in order for to I'm oriented towards people, right? But Bryce is what's I love about Bryce, man. He's like a very genuine guy. You know what I mean? You're just there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't try to impress people. You don't have the latest kicks, or you don't have you know what I mean? And that's okay with you. And that's not something you're worried about.
Do you
And that
see his
means-
kicks, bro?
Those are fire. I can't lie.
Yeah, they are pretty
They're
clean.
fire.
Those are clean. Those are clean, bro.
They're like my nicest shoes that I've ever gotten.
Come on.
Other than my cowboy boots. But
And that's Farmington for you, right there.
That
bro.
is
Those
Farmington
don't count,
Hey,
bro.
go to Nashville and people dress up in like designer with boots on. So,
Yeah.
I spent my
on.
Thursday
It's all
night
about the way
at
you
the
dress.
Bardy Chuck Wagon in Durango. That's how little I get out.
What is that?
You've
Tell us
never been
about-
to you live in Farmington and you've never been to the Bardy Chuck Wagon?
in Durango?
In
No.
Durango. It's like this old southern place. You go and there's like little stores. It's like right outside of Durango. It's just really nice. It's been there for like 50 years and all that stuff. But it's really it's like cowboy themed and all that stuff and old western and there are shops and all that stuff. And then about 6:30 they call you in for dinner, and you go and you sit down at these assigned tables, and there are these four guys. Real cowboys, all that stuff, and they tell you how the line's gonna work for dinner, and you go through, you get your food, all that stuff, you sit down and you eat, and then they start playing real cowboy country music just up there on stage, and it is so cool. I love going there with my family. But yeah, that's how little I try to act cool. I'm like, I like going and listening to old western music from these four old guys who are really cool guys. They're really cool, all that stuff. One of them's from Farmington, a couple are from Colorado, and one's from Texas. So it's really cool. And but yeah, you're right. I really don't try to impress people all that much. I think that's just one of like the basics of what my parents tried to teach me when I was growing up. Is my mom and my dad were always saying, just be yourself. Don't try to impress people. You might look different from other people. You might dress different. You might think different from other people. But you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And that's just something that both my parents have always tried to teach me. So I've never been a person that's always been like, what is the nicest thing I can dress in to impress someone?
And that's actually a very big contrast from how I was brought up, man. So, my dad, I mean, he works a lot in different, he has to raise money and all this stuff, right? And so he's very like, you have to impress certain people to, achieve goals. And, certain people are going to help you, but if they don't like you, they're not. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And so it's actually been, unfortunately, people judge you on how you dress. And so, Graham, you gotta focus on that. And so it's been a little bit different. And I had the era where I was trying, and I wore some of the most horrendous fits known to man. But you know what I mean? It was just one of those things you gotta do.
But you're trying.
Right? But I'm trying, right?
Yeah.
See, like
I've been through that too. Don't worry.
Yeah, like I know that people judge me by how I dress, but that's one of the things like I think that's so big about what I believe is that I'm not going to care, cuz if you're going to judge my personality based on what I wear, then I'm probably not going to want to hang out with you or anything like that. If you're one of my big things is like judge someone on their personality. You should judge someone on their faith and their beliefs first.
I like that.
Don't judge someone because of what they wear, because
Some people can dress like G back there, man, and and act like G even, but they're
I
still
know,
good
it's
people,
like-
right?
yeah.
And despite of all of that,
G's a good person.
exactly.
Bro,
Exactly.
you're acting
exactly.
like you dress real bad. You don't dress that bad, bro.
No,
Give yourself some
definitely.
credit. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's I've always just wanted to be a good person. I've never wanted to impress them by how I look. So I've always just tried to be a nice person.
I feel that, dude. Yeah. Well, any last closing thoughts, Sebby? I mean, thank you so much for coming on. You got anything else there, bro?
I don't think so.
What's
no.
what's your advice, bro? People trying to be like you, people trying to be in the culture, want to do it in a Christ-like manner. What's one piece of advice you just lay on them?
Stay grounded and do it because you love it. Do it for the right reasons.
I
Have the
love
right
it.
intention. Don't do it to get rich or get famous or anything, because it'll. I mean, it may work out, but it'll be miserable. I'm someone that's a big advocate for like following your passion and doing what you love. And the classic saying, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So find what you love, and whether it's that, whether it's something else, like if you're happy and you enjoy it, it lights you up, then do it. But it also relates to God, because it's like God gives us a purpose and he gives us those passions for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like your purpose and your passion are right in the same line.
Right.
So if you don't know what that is, look to God, and he'll show that to you,
Yeah.
and he'll reveal that to you. But he's given you certain things in your life that will help lead you to what that is. So follow God, stay grounded in what you know and what you believe in, so that you don't get lost and caught up in it. But he'll show you what your purpose is and what your passion is through that. And so you follow that, and you'll be good.
Yeah, man. I love that.
That's some great advice.
All right, man. That's been episode 6.
That's
thank
a
you-
wrap.
thank you for
That's a
coming.
wrap.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Thank
on,
you,
man.
Sebby.
Thanks for having
Yes,
me.
sir.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And if any of you want to come down to Albuquerque, just stay in the right places.
Don't
to
go
Rio.
on Central. Don't go downtown. and you'll
Don't
be
drink
good.
gasoline. All right.
Just stay in Rio.
Yep,
Yeah,
there you
100%.
go.
All right.
And don't stare for more than 1 second.
Okay. That's our advice. Peace, guys.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.